Okay, so this final video is on merging parts of an object together. And what we want to merge is we want to be able to extrude a slat from one side to the other. And rather than have this like doubling up of faces or any part of our mesh which is sort of like incomplete, I actually want to merge these components together. So let's actually do a couple of things first. Number one, the first thing I want to do is you'll see in my image here that what it doesn't look like is it doesn't look like the slat just comes straight out. There's actually like a bit of space between the slat and the edge of that backing cube. So it's almost like it's the slats, it's quite a bit thinner than that cube. So what I actually want to do is I want to extrude this face inward so it's a bit thinner and a bit smaller. So what I want to do is I actually want to modify that extrude option to just reduce the size of that extrusion. So if I just hit extrude now, and I just want to scale that in, so I'm just going to make them all thinner. And you'll see there's this funny thing happening. So it's starting to warp. The reason why it's warping is because my legs are at my backing is at an angle, but the manipulator tool is not on an angle. So I'm just going to undo that. And I'll left click drag on this little blue dongle up here. And if I scale that in now, still warping. So I want this to, let's see, I think maybe the options I might want actually come on this little poly extrude face window. Thickness pulls it out. Offset, way too much. Offset is what I want, but oh man, it goes too far too quickly. Okay. Offset 0.1 looks like exactly the right amount. And let's just make them slightly taller. No, we're not going to be able to do that without warping it. So offset 0.1 makes those slats thinner. And you can avoid this whole accidentally warping thing if you actually model your slats before you rotate the back of your chair. That was my mistake. I probably should have just pulled the backing arms straight up, modeled the slats, and then rotated the whole thing backwards. So I jumped the gun there. So you get to see me make a mistake and suffer for it. Okay, I now have the basis for my slats, and I want to pull slats from just one side to the other. And oh man, these are just really just not good enough. They're going to be too short. I quite regret rotating that backwards now. Anyways, we're just gonna move on. You have to live with your mistakes. Well, in my you don't. You could actually start over. But for now, for the purpose of this video, we will live with our mistakes. Okay, so I've got just those 3 faces selected to pull the slats over from. I'll hit extrude. And I'm just grabbing extrude from the modeling toolkit now, rather than going back up to mesh tools because, well, it's right there. It's easy. So I hit extrude, and I can drag slats from one side to the other, and you'll see that, like in my reference image here, while my slats are a bit shorter than in this one, they are indented in the same way that this chair reference is. So I'll pull those over. Now, if I'm going to connect these two, so if I'm going to merge objects together, I need to make sure that that the faces where these components are going to merge are deleted. So I do not want there to be faces on the inside of my object. If I merge these components together, there would be. So I will just delete the faces, both on the slats I'm pulling over and on the base of the slats on this arm. Think about when you're modeling, you always want your objects to be like hollow toys. Always have them be hollow toys. Okay, so an easy way to merge these components together, it's actually going to a new component mode called Vertex. Now we've been in face, which lets us actually select certain faces, but Vertex, so if I right click and hold and go Vertex, that actually lets us grab the corners of the object and just move a corner at a time. So, I mean, that's, for me, it's just a super easy way. If I don't have a face, because, you know, I deleted the inside of the face, I can just grab all these vertices. So I'm holding down Shift and dragging a selection box around all the vertices of these slats. And of course I'm going to hit 4 on my keyboard to make sure I haven't accidentally selected some sneaky vertices somewhere. I haven't. Good. Go me. And I'll hit 5 again. And what I want to do is I want to actually just drag those vertices over so that they are right on top of their fellows. Like, I want to get them like literally right on top of each other. They are just gonna have a bit of a kiss. There you go. So you want to kiss them together. And the last step is you want to do something called merge. So right now, if I zoom in, you'll see that they're still separate. But that just is not going to fly. I need to actually merge them together because, you know, this chair would be merged in real life. And if it was separate in real life, well, you just fall through the back of it. We try to mirror life as much as we can. And it's just good practice that if an object should be welded together, just weld the object together. So I'm going to select all of those vertices. So everything around that. And I'm going to go for an option called, let's see, where did they put it this time? Merge. So I will just click on merge and see what happens. So I clicked on merge, and to test to see if it worked or not, I'm going to just select one vert. I'm not dragging a selection box. It's not what I'm doing. I'm just tapping, left click tap to select a vert, and I'll move that, and you see that it looks connected. So once again, I'll grab all of those guys for the second slot and go edit mesh and merge. And once more, I'm going to tap that, check that. Now the last one, I actually want to, so I'll just do the same thing again. Let's do the same thing, but let's leave 2 of them unselected. So let's grab everything, but we just won't grab those 2. I just want to show you one more way to merge things. So that looks good. Cool. Let's go merge that. Okay, so everything is merged except for here. The 2 I left unmerged, and you can see that I pull one aside and you get this gaping hole in the mesh. You really want to, when someone says fix the holes in your mesh, this is what they mean. You don't ever want to be able to pull a vertex aside and see that hole. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do something called target weld. So let's go back to mesh tools and target weld. What I like about this is just makes life so easy. I can just left click drag one vertex on top of the other, pop, there you go, and it just welds together. So there we have it. We have some merged faces. So this object has been merged to itself. There is our first model. We have created this beautiful chair, and we will texture that in a future video. Okay, there you go. Happy modeling. Just a quick final thing. Always, if you're modeling, start with some reference. It just makes your life so much easier. And take your time. A very final thing we'll do, because if I go to the channel box of this object, which I can just find by clicking on the tabs, you'll see that under inputs, there's a history of all this crap I've done to that chair. If I'm totally done with it, and I'm completely done, and I'm like, you know, ready to texture it, I'm actually going to go up to Edit, Delete by Type, and History. But I will save that for the next video. Okay. Thank you very much, guys, and enjoy modeling chairs and whatever else you want to model.